From county jail to Angola, the secret journey no one sees, most people think a prisoner is sent to Angola the moment a judge says, "You're going to state prison." But that's not how it works. Not even close. The journey from a small county jail to Angola, the largest maximum security prison farm in the United States, is a long, hidden process that almost nobody on the outside ever sees. There are no TV cameras, no news reports, no public warnings. Just a quiet system running in the background, moving thousands of people every year through a routine that is part transportation, part security operation, and part survival. Inside the county jail, inmates wait for weeks or even months, wondering when their name will finally appear on the transport list. Some find out the night before. Some find out when the door opens at 4 a.m. and an officer simply says, "Pack your stuff. You're going to the farm." From that moment on, everything changes. Their clothes, their shackles, their paperwork, their level of security. Even the way officers speak to them becomes different. It stops feeling like jail and starts feeling like a system bigger than them, moving them toward a place with a reputation older than their lifetime. The buses aren't fancy. They're not comfortable. And they're not meant to be. But every mile on that road to Angola has a purpose. From the hidden back roads used to avoid public traffic, to the state troopers who track the bus by radio, to the long ride through empty Louisiana fields where the only sound is the engine and the chains around their ankles. No one on the road knows who is inside that bus. No one in the towns they pass sees the story happening behind those metal windows. But the men inside feel every second of it. Because once that bus enters the dirt road leading to the front gates of Angola, they're not just arriving at a prison. They're entering a world with its own rules, its own history, and a reputation that begins long before the bus stops moving. This is a journey from county jail to Angola, the journey no one ever sees. The waiting list nobody wants to be on inside almost every county jail in Louisiana. There's a piece of paper taped to a clipboard or pinned to a wall in the booking office. Most inmates never see it, but everyone knows it exists. It's called the State Transport List. This list decides who stays in county jail and who gets shipped out to Angola, the massive state prison sitting on 18,000 acres of farmland and razor wire. And once your name is placed on that list, your life is about to change. Not tomorrow, not next week, whenever the state decides a bus is coming. The silent countdown county jails are small. Everyone hears everything. Fights, meals, counts, gossip. But the one thing inmates never hear is when the transfer bus will arrive. That information is kept quiet for one simple reason. No one can prepare for it. Not the inmates, not their friends, not anyone outside the walls. If word spreads too early, people might panic, argue, or try to manipulate their placement. So officers keep the schedule locked away, usually in a supervisor's office. Behind a door only a few people can open. For inmates, that silence creates a strange tension. Every time an officer walks by with a folder, every time a name is called during count, every time someone gets moved out of a dorm, men look up and wonder, is it me? Is today the day? Most are nervous. Some are curious. A few are relieved. Anything is better than waiting. But nobody feels ready. The night before the transfer county jails do not announce transfers. There are no meetings, no warnings, no explanations. Instead, an officer will quietly approach a dorm late at night and read a name off a paper. Roll your mattress. You're going to state. Some men freeze. Some whisper it's time. Some stare at the floor in disbelief. The officer won't answer many questions. They won't say what time the bus leaves or what dorm you'll be in next. Their only job is to escort you to a holding cell where everyone scheduled for transport will stay until morning. Inside the holding cell, the mood is always the same. Quiet, heavy, uncertain. Nobody knows exactly what awaits them, except one thing. Angola is nothing like county jail. Collecting what little they can take inmates going to Angola don't take much. One small clear bag, legal papers, basic hygiene, items of clothes on their back, anything extra stays behind. For many, the only real possession they carry is their state inmate ID number, assigned the moment they enter the justice system. That number becomes more important than their name inside the Louisiana prison network. It's how officers track everyone. especially on transport days. Early morning call. Before sunrise, the bus always arrives early. Not 6 a.m., not 5 a.m., earlier, usually between 3:45 and 4:30 a.m., when the world is still asleep and the jail is at its calmest. Officers begin calling names one by one, chains rattling, doors clanking, the sound of boots echoing on concrete floors. Some inmates walk out without speaking. Some whisper prayers. Some take one last look at the dorm. But once they step into the hallway, everything becomes official. The shackles and the chain before boarding the bus. Inmates are placed in full restraint. Handcuffs, waist chain, ankle shackles, these restraints aren't to punish. They are simply standard procedure for long-distance transport. Officers do it quickly, easily, and without raising their voices. They've done it hundreds of times. The sound of metal clicking shut is one inmates never forget. Loading the transport bus isn't like regular prison buses shown on TV. It's older, louder, and built for one purpose: moving people safely and quietly across long distances. It has steel grates over every window, bench seats, welded to the floor, a locked metal gate separating the front and back heavy doors. You can hear from across a parking lot. Officers lead inmates up the steps one by one, seating them row after row. Some men look out the small window openings at the dark street outside. Some put their head down. Some stare forward, trying to imagine what Angola will look like. No one talks much. The officers close the doors, do a final count, check the paperwork, and signal the driver. The engine starts with a deep rumble. And just like that, the long, secret journey begins. The long ride through Louisiana's back roads. When the bus finally pulls away from the county jail, something happens that every inmate notices immediately. The world is completely quiet. No more cell doors slamming. No voices echoing down hallways. No officers giving orders. Just a low rumble of the engine and the soft clinking of chains every time someone shifts in their seat. This silence sets the tone for the entire journey, a journey that feels longer, heavier, and more real with every mile. Because once that bus leaves the jail parking lot, the men inside are no longer county inmates. They are officially state prisoners on their way to Angola, a place they've heard about their whole lives but never truly believed they might see. The route no one talks about, Louisiana, doesn't broadcast which roads the Angola transport buses take. They don't need to. The roads change constantly. One month the bus might take the main highway. Another month it might take rural back roads that cut through tiny towns and open fields. The goal is simple: avoid attention. The transport doesn't want cars pulling up beside it, people recording it, or anyone knowing which inmates are inside. So the bus travels a route that's long, quiet, and unpredictable, a route only the prison system fully understands. And while the men inside can't see much through the small wired windows, they can feel the turns, the bumps, the long open stretches of road that seem to go on forever. The sound of chains and breathing inside the bus. There is no conversation. Not because inmates are forbidden to speak, but because most simply don't know what to say. Everyone is thinking the same thing. What's waiting for me at Angola? The chains on their wrists and ankles move every time someone adjusts their seat. The sound is soft but constant, a cold reminder that this isn't a regular road trip. Some men sit perfectly still. Some try to sleep. Some stare at the window, try and catch glimpses of towns they recognize. But the view isn't much. Trees, fields, power lines, the occasional gas station, and long empty roads stretching into the horizon. Security without being seen. People imagine prison buses with escorts, flashing lights, or police following behind. But that almost never happens. Angola transport buses rely on being quiet, unnoticed, and ordinary looking. They blend into traffic, unless you know exactly what you're seeing. Still, hidden security measures exist. State troopers are aware of the route. Dispatch monitors the bus by radio. Every checkpoint reports when the bus passes. If the bus stops, a silent alert is triggered. To the outside world, it's just a bus. To the prison system, it's a moving cell. The mid-ride break, everyone anticipates about halfway through the journey. The bus makes a mandatory stop. Not at a public rest area, not at a gas station, but at a secure facility only the Department of Corrections uses. Officers step off first. They stretch, check the tires, and verify paperwork. Inmates do not leave the bus. They stay chained, seated, and waiting. For many, this is the moment reality hits. There is no turning back. This is the last stop before Angola. The landscape changes, and so does the mood as the bus gets closer to West Louisiana Parish. The scenery begins to shift. The roads get narrower. The woods grow denser. Old farms and wide fields appear on both sides of the highway. Angola sits in a uniquely isolated part of Louisiana, surrounded by hills, farmland, and the Mississippi River. Some inmates notice the landscape becoming familiar from stories they heard. Man, that's Angola country. Bro, we're close. That's where the farm starts. Even if they've never been there before, they know the signs. Approaching the front gate, the closer the bus gets, the quieter everyone becomes. Men who were staring out the window now sit up straighter. Some take deeper breaths. Others close their eyes. And then it appears, the long driveway leading to the front gate. A faded sign, a wide gravel road. Open fields stretching out to the left and right. A few guard towers in the distance. This is not a normal prison entrance. It feels like driving onto a farm the size of a town. Because it is. Angola is so large that you can drive for miles and still be inside the prison grounds. The bus slows down. Officers prepare the intake paperwork. Inmates lift their heads, waiting for the moment when the engine goes quiet. Finally, the bus comes to a stop. The front gates of Angola stand tall in front of them, a place built on work, discipline, and stories older than any man riding on that bus. The doors open. Sunlight pours in. The secret journey is over. But the real experience at Angola is just beginning. First steps inside Angola. The intake no one forgets when the bus doors finally open in Angola. The first thing the inmates notice is the light. Not the sun itself, but how open everything feels. Angola is not like a county jail with tight walls and small yards. It is 18,000 acres of farmland, open fields, long roads, and buildings spread across massive distances. Some men say stepping off that bus feels like arriving at a strange mix of a prison and a whole different world. But the moment their feet touch the ground, reality hits again. Before they see Angola, before they meet anyone, before they go to their dorm or cell, they must survive intake. Intake is the doorway into Angola's system, a long process that every inmate goes through and one they will remember for the rest of their life. The walk from the bus, slow, quiet, controlled. Officers line up outside the bus, standing in formation. They don't shout. They don't rush. They don't joke around. This part is serious. One officer gives a command. Let's go. Stay in line. Inmates shuffle down the metal steps one by one. Their ankle chains click on the gravel. Some squint their eyes from the sudden sunlight. They walk toward a large building known as RHO Intake, a place designed to process hundreds of people every week. The walk is short, but every man feels the weight of it. This is the first time many of them realize, I'm really here. This is Angola. The intake building, cold, bright, and busy inside. The temperature drops. The lights are bright, almost white. The sound level rises. Radios, keys, paperwork, officers moving around. Intake at Angola is not silent like the transfer bus. It is a busy machine running all day, every day. Everyone goes through the same steps. Identification, medical checks, property storage, clothing change, orientation, housing assignment. None of it is dramatic, but all of it is serious. This is where Angola decides who you are in the system and where you belong inside the prison. Step 1. ID and fingerprints. The first stop is the identification desk. Officers take each inmate's name, DOC number, fingerprints, photograph for some men. This is the moment their past becomes permanent. What was once county time now becomes state time, official, logged, and tracked. The camera flashes. The fingerprints press onto a scanner. The officer types quietly. Nothing is said unless needed. Step 2. Medical screening next. Inmates enter the medical area. This is not a doctor's office. It's a fast-moving examination line. Everyone gets a quick blood pressure check, a medical review, questions about past injuries, a mental health screening, TB testing. Officers stand nearby. Nurses work quickly and professionally. This process is not designed to treat issues. It is designed to identify who needs follow-up care and who can immediately enter general population. Some men are moved to medical dorms. Some go to observation. Most continue down the intake line. Step 3. Clothing and state-issued gear. When inmates reach the clothing area, they turn in the clothes they came with. Everything: their shirt, their shoes, their socks. In exchange, they receive a set of state-issued khaki, clothing, a pair of boots, socks, basic hygiene items, county jail, orange uniform, stay behind. From this moment forward, they are dressed like every other inmate inside Angola. Some men say the clothing change feels like a final door closing behind them. For others, it feels like the start of something new. Step 4. Property check and storage. Most inmates arriving from county jail do not have much property. Maybe a few letters, a Bible, legal papers, and 1 or 2 small items. Officers log everything carefully. If the item is allowed, it is stored. If it is not allowed, it is sent back or held. This step matters because Angola is strict about what can enter the prison. Everything must be documented. Everything must be accounted for. Step 5. Classification. The decision that shapes their future classification is the heart of intake. Here, inmates go through an interview with staff who determine custody level, where they will live, what job they will be assigned, what part of the prison they are allowed and who they can and cannot be around. Most new arrivals are placed into a standard dorm at first. But some men, depending on charges, history, or behavior, may be sent to more restricted areas. Classification officers are calm, professional, and very direct. This step is not about punishment. It is about safety and order inside a prison the size of a small city. Step 6. Orientation. The rules of the farm before leaving intake. Inmates receive a short orientation explaining work assignments, mealtime schedules, dorm rules, movement protocols, disciplinary procedures, program opportunities. This is when many first hear, you will be assigned a job. At Angola, working is not optional. It is part of daily life. Most start with field work, cutting grass, tending crops, or other outdoor tasks under supervision. It is physically demanding, especially in Louisiana heat. Men who have never worked a day in their lives will find out quickly, Angola is not a place where you sit idle. The long walk to their first dorm when intake is complete, officers line inmates up again. They step outside into the open Louisiana heat. Some can see guard towers in the distance. Others see long dirt roads stretching toward fields and barns. An officer points ahead. That's where you're going. The dorm buildings look far away. In Angola, everything is far. The walk is slow. Boots kick up dust with every step. Some men breathe heavily. Some look around, taking in the enormous size of the prison. In this moment, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Angola is not just a prison. It's a world inside a world. A city with thousands of men, dozens of job sites, and more land than many towns in Louisiana. Intake is over. Now the real journey, living inside Angola, is about to begin. Life on the farm. Working, walking, and learning the system. For most men who arrive at Angola, the biggest shock isn't the size of the prison or the guards or the rules. It's the work. Angola is called the farm for a reason. It sits on thousands of acres of fields, cattle pastures, workshops, barns, and cropland. Every day, hundreds of men walk out in long lines toward job sites spread across the property. Some grew up working long days. Some never worked a job in their life. But Angola doesn't ask about your past. At Angola, everyone works. The first morning, no one forget before sunrise. Officers enter the dorm with a simple command. Get up, line up, let's go. There is no alarm clock, no gentle reminder, just the lights coming on and the sound of boots hitting the floor. Most new inmates feel the same rush of thoughts. Where am I going? How long is the day? Can I handle the work? But they don't ask questions. They simply fall into line. The walk outside begins. Long groups of inmates marching toward open fields, all under the watch of officers on horseback. This moment is the real introduction to Angola's daily life. The walk to the fields, the walk itself, is a lesson. The dirt roads stretch long and wide. Tall grass blows on both sides. You might see tractors, barns, distant rooftops, and guard towers watching from high points. Inmates walk in rows, boots kicking dust with each step. Some talk quietly. Most stay silent, because Angola is big. So big it can take 15 to 20 minutes just to reach a work site. And the whole time, officers on horses ride slowly beside the line, scanning everything, not yelling, not threatening, just watching. At Angola, silence works better than shouting. Field work, a job older than the prison itself. When they reach the fields, the routine is simple. Line-up tools are handed out instructions. Given a day, begin some men cut grass with long-handled blades. Some pull weeds. Some repair fences. Some load hay. Some dig drainage lines. The work is not complicated, but the heat makes it hard, and the long hours make it even harder. Louisiana summers are intense, humid, hot, and draining. Officers watch from horseback or from shaded areas. They keep everyone moving, checking in when needed, maintaining order without losing control. Most inmates say the same thing after their first week. Your body gets tired before your mind does. Because the day isn't just about the job. It's about learning to push through the routine, learning the culture, respect, quiet. Routine, every prison has its own culture, but Angola's culture is extremely structured. 3 things matter most: respect towards staff, towards other inmates, and the system itself routine. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it awareness. Paying attention to the energy in the dorm, the yard, and the field, new inmates quickly understand that chaos does not survive long in Angola. Not because of violence, but because the system is too large and too old to let disorder survive. Men who have been at Angola for years become mentors without being asked. They pull new arrivals aside and say things like, "Mind your business, work your job, stay out of trouble." Simple advice, but important. The Angola reality. A prison the size of a small town. During their first week, new inmates realize something surprising. Angola feels like a town with its own. Bakery, metal shop, wood shop, horse barn, auto shop, hospital, chapel, fire station, radio station, and even a rodeo arena. Every one of these places involves inmate labor. Some men repair furniture for government buildings. Some take care of animals. Some cook for thousands of inmates every day. Some work in education or maintenance crews. Angola runs on inmate manpower, and every inmate becomes part of the system. Work in the fields may be the first job for most, but it isn't always the last. If a man behaves, works hard, and keeps his record clean, he may earn a different assignment over time. But everyone starts the same. The end of a long day when work hours end. The walk back to the dorm feels heavier. Boots hit the dirt slower. Bodies move with exhaustion. The heat sticks to clothes and skin. But there is also relief. The day is done, the job is finished, and one more piece of Angola has been learned. Back in the dorm, men line up for showers, others get ready for count dinner, comes on metal trays, the noise level rises and settles again. It is not comfortable. It is not easy, but it is predictable. And for many inmates, predictability brings a strange kind of peace. The new normal. After a week, the shock fades. After a month, the routine settles. After a year, Angola becomes its own world. A world with rules, work, expectations, and a rhythm outsiders never see. Some men adjust. Some struggle. Some find faith. Some find focus. But everyone learns the same truth. Angola is not just a prison. It's a system built on work, time, and discipline. A world where every day is earned. For a man who just came from county jail, this is where the real transformation begins. The journey brought him here, but life on the farm decides who he becomes next. Finding your place. How men survive Angola's everyday reality. By the time an inmate reaches his first full month at Angola, something begins to change. The shock of arrival fades. The fear becomes quieter. The routines become familiar. And the size of the prison, so overwhelming at first, starts to feel like a world with its own rhythm. This chapter is about what comes next, how men find their place, build structure, and learn to survive long-term inside one of America's most unique prisons. Not through toughness, not through violence, but through patience, routine, choices, and understanding what this place demands. The dorm becomes a second world. The dorm is the heart of most inmates' lives. It's where they sleep, eat, relax, argue, pray, read, and try to stay out of trouble. At first, dorms feel loud, crowded, and confusing. So many personalities, so many backgrounds, so many unwritten rules. But with time, every man learns how things work. Respect the older guys. Don't take what isn't yours. Stay out of arguments that don't involve you. Keep your area clean. Don't bring trouble into the dorm. Simple rules. Keep the peace. Inmates quickly realize that a dorm in Angola is like a neighborhood. Everyone watches, everyone listens, and everyone knows when someone is out of balance. Those who keep to themselves adjust faster. Those who stir trouble learn hard lessons. But for most, the dorm becomes a space where they build routines that help them survive years, sometimes decades inside. Finding a job that changes everything work is mandatory at Angola, but the type of job an inmate gets can shape his entire experience. After proving yourself in the fields, officers may assign you to kitchen duty, cleaning crews, maintenance, carpentry, metal shop, auto, repair, laundry, chapel support, educational programs, hobby, crafts. These jobs come with different schedules, different environments, and different levels of pressure. Men who work hard, avoid fights, and stay focused often find themselves moved to better jobs, ones with shades, shorter hours, or more responsibility. Some even build skills they never had before. One inmate might learn how to cook for 2,000 men. Another might learn how to repair tractors. Another might learn woodworking or welding. These jobs don't erase their situation, but they help them build purpose, structure, and pride. Things that matter more in prison than most people outside will ever understand. Counting down time in your own way, every inmate finds his own method for surviving time. Some read constantly. Some work out. Some study religion. Some write letters every week. Some dive into GED or college programs. Some build routines around meals and work. Some stay quiet and watch the world around them. Time in Angola moves differently. Days feel long. Months feel slow. Years pass quietly. But small routines add up, giving structure to a place where time can easily swallow a person whole. Programs that give hope despite Angola's tough reputation. It is programs that change lives. Literacy classes, GED, vocational training, Bible college mentorship programs, hospice volunteer, work music groups, library work, farming apprenticeships. Men who never finish school sometimes earn their first diploma. Men who never touched a tool learn trades they can use one day. The most surprising transformation comes from the Angola hospice program, where inmates care for other inmates in their final months of life. Many describe this program as the moment they realize prison is more than punishment. It is a place where people can still offer compassion. The reality of Angola's size, Angola, is so large that it forces inmates to think differently. You cannot see the whole prison in one day. You might walk for 15 minutes just to reach your work site. You might spend years in one camp before seeing another part of prison. The size creates order. It creates separation. It creates a feeling that the world outside is far away, even farther than it really is. For some men, that distance is painful. For others, it helps them focus. But everyone feels it. Building a reputation, good or bad, inside Angola, your reputation becomes your currency. People remember, if you work hard, if you keep peace, if you follow rules, if you steal, if you help others, if you cause problems, word travels fast. A single mistake can follow a man for weeks. A single good deed can follow him for months. Over time, this reputation shapes. Where you sleep, what job you hold, who trusts you, how officers treat you, how safe you feel in Angola. Respect is earned slowly and lost quickly. Facing time and facing yourself, some men come to Angola angry. Some come confused. Some come determined to change. Some come refusing to change at all. But almost everyone reaches a moment, days, months, or sometimes years later, where they sit on their bunk at night and think about their life. How did I end up here? What comes next? How do I keep going? These thoughts are not forced on them by officers or rules. Angola is so large and so structured that it gives men space to face their own reality. For some, that reflection becomes a turning point. For others, it becomes a weight they carry every day. But one thing is constant. Everyone changes inside Angola, some for the better, some for the worse, but no one remains the same. The new life begins by the end of the first year. Most men in Angola know their routine, their work site, their dorm, the officers in their area, which inmates they trust, which areas to avoid, how to stay safe, how to stay busy. The shock of arrival has faded. The daily grind has become normal. The massive size of the prison no longer feels overwhelming. This place, the farm, has become their world, not by choice, not by desire, but by reality. And in that reality, every man finds a rhythm that carries him from one year to the next inside one of the largest, toughest, and most unique prisons in America. The journey that changes everything for most people. Angola is just a name. A prison they've heard about in documentaries, news reports, or stories passed down through generations. But for the men who travel there, starting in a small county jail, stepping onto a transport bus before sunrise, riding for hours through Louisiana's back roads, and finally walking into a prison the size of a town, the journey is something far deeper. It marks a turning point, a moment where the world they knew ends and a new reality begins. The truth is simple. Angola is not just a place where time is served. It is a place where time shapes you. From the early morning wake-ups to the long days in the fields, to the silent walks back to the dorms, to the routines that repeat day after day, Angola teaches its own kind of discipline. A discipline built on work, patience, and learning how to survive one day at a time. Some men grow stronger. Some find faith. Some find purpose. Some struggle. But everyone learns something about themselves. Because Angola doesn't just test your body. It tests your mind, your habits, your choices, and your ability to adapt to a world that never slows down. And the journey doesn't end at intake. It doesn't end at your first job. It doesn't end after your first month or even your first year. It continues every morning at sunrise, every time the work bell rings, every time you walk across those long dirt roads with dust rising under your boots. For the outside world, Angola is a prison. For the men inside, it becomes a system, a life, a challenge, and in some cases, a turning point they never expected. Thank you for watching From County Jail to Angola, the secret journey no one sees. If you want more real, raw, and fully factual prison documentaries that explore the parts of the system the world rarely sees, like, comment, and subscribe so the next story finds you first.